Hey there, Brandon here, and welcome to another episode of Stack and Scale. And today I got another banger for you. I'm talking with Jerry O'Shea, who's the founder of Not Your Average BDR, and they specialize in building go-to-market engines for organizations, and they do that with a combination of AI and GTM engineering. And I'm sure you've all seen it before, but a lot of organizations, they want to be AI forward, but the challenge is they don't know where to start, or they don't have the time to do it, or they're just not technical enough to be able to do it across an organization and get everyone to see the benefits, not just one isolated individual running Claude from their own machine. So Jerry is one of the best I've seen at actually taking this, turning it into a system, and allowing the entire go-to-market organization to leverage both AI and GTM engineering. And Jerry's going to show us a little bit more complicated or a little bit more complex of a workflow today. But I think this audience, you all here have been following me, are probably technical enough to follow and to understand it. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Jerry. Jerry, welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Good to see you.
You too, man. Heck yeah. I've been looking forward to this. So tell the audience what we're going to cover today.
Today we are going to cover why folks should be using both Clay and Claude together to better capture context around your company and deliver better outcomes.
Nice. I love it. I love it. All right. Talk us through what you built and how you built it, and maybe why you built it too.
For sure. I can start with the why. The thing that I've observed is Clay is unbelievable orchestrator. Claude is also an unbelievable orchestrator, right? The gap that I've observed from working with customers and even working internally is how do I best capture and replicate the things that I know are good, the best behaviors and
Mhm.
making messaging, making call prep, making everything as customer centric as possible. Um, so that's kind of how I approach this problem. How do I make sure that I can instill that within my workflows in an intelligent, scalable way? Because a lot of people tend to rely on Claude. It's hard to do a multiplayer. So if you have multiple reps, that can be really challenging.
Yeah.
And also, it's hard to make that go and just continue to persist across a bunch of chats that you do have. So we designed something that helps overcome that. And the thing I'm going to walk through is going to be how do we use that? We call it a company OS. How do we use that to be able to look at a company, understand a bunch of information of it from Clay, use your company OS hosted in Claude to be able to understand here's how we can actually help this customer based on our product, based on our ICP, based on how we talk to our customers, based on all of our customer stories.
So a lot of the context then that you're using for messaging, for outreach, all that stuff is hosted in your company OS. And then you're bringing that in. And yeah, I haven't seen any setup like this so far. So that's why I'm really excited to dive into this. But you're also using n8n as part of the workflow. And I honestly haven't logged into n8n in probably like 8-10 months.
Yeah.
But from just seeing what you set up, geez, maybe I have to kind of dust off my n8n skills a little bit.
Hey man, what's old is new, right? Uh,
Yeah, that's right.
I felt the same exact way. There was a point in time where I was like, "Oh, Claude can just be my new n8n," and you kind of come back. I mean, for me, I feel like you feel the same. Just knowing you, you like to be able to look at, diagnose, and be able to go back and trace things to make sure you can constantly improve on it. And I find n8n is really helpful for that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why. I mean, everyone these days is saying Claude just killed Clay. And it's like
Yeah.
not even close. I'm still using Claude more for this type of stuff than I am. Or sorry, I'm using Clay more than Claude for this type of system. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still in Claude every friggin' day, every hour. But I
100%. Just give it 3 to 6 months after that declaration and revisit it every single time.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, okay. Tell me a little bit more about what you actually built in your company OS.
For sure. Would it be helpful if I kind of show you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, would love.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
So the way, set a little context. I run a go-to-market engineering consulting shop that is called Not Your Average BDR. We help people just like how do we embed AI and go-to-market in any type of way. So the thing that's most important to me is like the orchestration is actually pretty easy. I think the more important thing is the context about who a customer is and leveraging that in a systematic way. So usually what I will do is when I have a conversation or start with someone, I'll actually send them over this thing that I call the like company OS interview skill. So I'll send them over a skill file. And what this skill file is it greets you and says, you should download Whisperflow because if you don't have Whisperflow, you should just get it. And this will happen a lot faster for you. So,
Yep.
uh, Brandon, you can just email me. You can send me over a Venmo for like an endorsement or whatever. Uh, but what happens here is we just have about 50 interview questions to better understand who you serve, why you serve them, what your product does for them, and how do you actually talk about this. The cool thing here is if you're a pretty advanced company, you can just upload documents and it'll fill out some of those 50 questions, right?
Mm,
We're just trying to optimize for your time, better understand your business as quickly as possible. Um, and the other good thing is I have people who are like pre-product market fit. This helps just hold a mirror up to you to just figure out like, hey, can I actually answer these intelligently?
mm.
So it's a good like accountability stick. Um, and yeah, this will just be 40, 50 questions that people will run through so we can then understand who they are, who they serve.
Yep.
Any questions here, man?
Yep. Yeah, that all makes sense. And when I mean, you and I talked, geez, maybe a month or two ago about this, and you're like, "Have you done the interview yet?" And I was like, "Oh shit, no, I got to go do that." And I didn't use this skill. Well, maybe I did. Is this your own specific skill that you built?
Yeah, this is my own skill, but
Okay, yeah, I used, oh gosh, I forget the guy's name, but yeah, I used one about 40 or 50 questions. Took me a few hours, and yeah, I use Super Whisper instead of Whisperflow.
mm,
Uh, Yeah, but it's fine, it's okay. I feel like maybe I should have gone with Whisperflow, but,
yeah.
I used it for, like, a week, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, this is really cool." I just bought the lifetime subscription, before the price jumped, and then now I feel like I'm kinda locked into it.
I
Uh,
understand.
yeah, there's a little bit left to be desired there, but anyway, yeah, just I use it all the freaking time now, um, and then yeah, I uploaded that to my second brain, and it really just changed how my whole system worked, and started to actually remember things and think ahead of things and connect the dots that I didn't connect before.
Yeah, a lot of people tend to use something like an Obsidian for something like this. Um, I'm trying to make it as frictionless as possible for my customers.
Yeah.
So part of this flow is just as streamlined. I stripped it to the bare bones as humanly possible without making horrible security risks
Yeah.
or compliance risks or anything like that.
So you're not using Obsidian?
I use it personally, but
Okay.
my clients probably will not. Their sellers will not be as
Okay,
interested
that
in
makes sense, that makes
in
sense.
downloading Obsidian. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought you did. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, most of the sharp people out there are doing AI or yeah, they're using Obsidian.
yeah, 100%.
Sweet. Okay,
Um, cool. So I'm just going to use myself as the example here.
perfect.
What happens once I do this is no matter who takes it, I get emailed these 4 different markdown files around like who their ICP is, what their product does, who their ideal like contacts are, and as well as like how do we position, how do we talk about this. So this can be as long as humanly possible, but really what this does is synthesizes all that information and makes it super ingestible by an LLM. What I will then do is this is the thing that we've done. I made a choice to do this and not in GitHub because GitHub's intimidating people. It is frankly kind of hard to use multiplayer for especially for go-to-market folks unless
Mhm,
you're pretty technical. So I built this company OS that only I can access.
mm,
And what this does is I can drop those 4 markdown files, right? Because this is just me building that like contextual layer of like, here's how I talk about my company.
yep,
Um, and then the other thing I did to make it multiplayer is I have the ability to add in folks here. All they have to do is enter a one-time API key into their Claude, And what it'll do is then it'll integrate it, and then you just are able to pull from that directly. The thing that I also made a choice to do is I want to have one admin that can go in and that can push and pull from the company OS.
There you go.
Uh, I don't want every rep to go in and be able to do it because people don't like that. But I do think it's important to have this be dynamic in nature. And that push back to the company OS can be anything. It can be call recordings, it can be closed one wires, really whatever you want. But we have this like manual review here where we can look at all what has been contributed. Do we approve or do we deny it? It's a little more friction than I would like. But for now, this is kind of the approach that is a balance of like security as well as like value.
Did you build this yourself as, like, as a custom app with
Mhm.
yeah, and did you use, like, Claude or something to build it?
Use Claude, Cloudflare, Lovable. Like
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
there's a lot of orchestration behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is way easier than, a GitHub repo at the company level that you're trying to do permissions and you pull and you are trying to keep everything updated. Like, the permissioning and the governance is kind of the biggest, trickiest part, at a big company, and or if you open it up to anyone, it gets so messy.
Exactly. That is the biggest gap that I found for go-to-market teams. There is existing tech that does something similar to this, but most of the folks that I know and that I work with tend to not really need this big platform for this. In fact, they're trying to consolidate. So like
Mhm.
them, not many people having a login is actually a good thing. And for security, I did the like contributions to review to make sure we're not uploading anything like super sensitive. That's
Yeah.
part of like the consulting to make sure like please do not upload your CRM or figure like don't do that. This
Yeah.
is all stuff that's like publicly available in your brain.
Yep. That makes sense. I love it.
Yeah, so that's the company OS. The way that I use this with Clay is I use this, take for example, this page here. These are all website visitors. So what I'll do is I'll take the signal of who's visiting my website. I'll then run this
This is
website
just the
visit.
signal that you put this in Clay with Clay's
Exactly.
web visitor
Yeah,
signal. Yeah.
exactly. So I'll push to this table. When I push this table, I will run this website visitor function, which is just a lot of research that I would just do manually, right? It's
Mhm.
how big's the company? Um, are they hiring for a go-to-market engineer? What
Mhm.
AI tooling are they using? Um, Based on their like job post, is there any executive type of initiatives? Like, how can we intelligently talk about this? Do they use a CRM? Do they use a sequencer? Just like all of this go to market tech, because that's really important for us to know. And
Mhm.
then once that happens, it gets pushed back to this web intent page. Have you used the functions capability in Clay yet?
No, not yet. I've been meaning to dive
It's
into
good.
that.
It's good. It's very good. It saves me a lot of time and a lot of gray hairs.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, I have a tab open on one of my many browsers and my many desktops. I've been meaning to dive into that still.
I understand. I have like 50 of those myself for just all sorts of things, just blogs I need to read. So I
Yeah,
get it. I
exactly.
get it. Um, the reason why I do the function is because it keeps the table really clean, and also I just don't have to repeat things. Because what I want to do in this is I think it's really important to have signal as well as context as to who the company is. And then I think it's really important to pair those with context as to who do we solve for, who do we serve, and how do
Yeah.
we serve them. Um, so accordingly, what I do is I will generate this column that is basically just like think of it as a really loose prompt that says, here's who you are. What I need to do is I need to create this sequence. I need to create the message based on like they visit our website. I want you to include if there's anything around like technographic that we can be specific on with like our value prop. I need you to look at like if they're hiring for a go-to-market engineer, I need to look at their tech stack and like generate how we help them. So that's how I think about the like new version of prompting because I don't want to have to go and be very pointed with all of my Clay prompts to generate email one. Because if email one, the theme is like hiring for a go-to-market engineer, they either are or they are not. If they are not, then that is a very stale message that goes out to all those people. So
Yep.
yeah. I'm trying to just keep things as customer centric as possible by being able to capture like the context, who they are, as well as how we can possibly serve them.
Nice.
Which brings us to the company OS. It's not saved. So what we'll do here is we'll send over a webhook to n8n. And when I do that, I'm just going to send over all of the fields that we've captured from that research we did in that function.
Hmm.
What that actually looks like is we will go here, send that webhook over, it'll come through all sorts of messy, right? I then create a node to basically clean up the JSON um, to be able to extract this and have it be super ingestible by an LLM. So we're able to extract like all of those columns within Clay. And then once I do that, I do a HTTP request to my company OS to basically just say like, hey, here's what I need you to do. I need you to take this prompt, take this whole like thought about like, here's the messages that I want. And I need you to also look at who they are and generate messaging from that. So the loose messaging theme is going to be like email one's hiring for a go-to-market engineer. If they're not, let's look at what they're hiring for from like, or if they use Salesforce, for example. So we run it through that, ping it to the company brain, and what it returns is this really messy email to subject, email to body, email three body. It returns this huge payload that's incredibly messy.
Yep. But I mean, this is the key right here. When you first showed me this, I was like, why are you doing n8n? And
Mm.
this is the piece that makes it is the whole reason you're actually pulling it into n8n, doing work in n8n, and then pushing it back to Clay. Because yeah, like I said, I hadn't used n8n in a while because I try to do everything within Clay. But this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the Clay as of right now, they have the ability to be able to go in and capture context really well. Um, but for me, like if I'm doing this at scale, I don't have the patience to go through and do the system prompt or document like contacts, upload a bunch of PDFs for this, right? Like I want
It's
to just have
already in your
yeah.
OS.
I've already done that work, so I just want it to happen because like this just compounds. Like everything is opportunity cost. Like I want to
Yeah,
make sure that I'm doing things as quickly as possible without sacrificing quality. But
yeah,
yeah, the n8n is very non-obvious.
yeah.
But um, once I get the emails returned, I'll normalize the text. I'll break it up using this other JavaScript node,
Mm,
and then I'll respond to the webhook, aka I will push it back to this page where I'm able to take all these different bodies, emails, create this new all these emails and like parse them out.
yep, love it.
Questions there.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
I'm looking forward to get roasted on like the comments as to like why I should do something different, maybe use Zapier or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
um, cool. And then I also take the first message and I will use AI because like AI should be used. Like my company OS doesn't actually matter because we've already gotten it.
Mhm.
So I just built out a prompt to basically take the email and make it consolidate into a LinkedIn message because I
Mm.
find a lot of a good conversion on LinkedIn.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then from here I will run 4 searches. I like to experiment. So
Mhm.
like I know that I talk to a lot of RevOps people. I talk to a lot of founders. I talk to a fair amount of marketing people and some salespeople. But I want to know exactly who I should be targeting at a company because I want to improve my company OS, frankly.
Yep.
Um, what I'll do is I will run this search and I will then enrich the person, figure out their email. And when I run that search, I will pull over all the like account information. So each person from Boston University, for example, will have an email associated with them.
Yep.
And what I'll then do is add them to a campaign on Lemlist, and the
Uh,
output that you would get is something like this. Like, here's the whole orchestration layer. The output you would get is something like this.
yes. Okay. That was going to be my question. What are you using for the actual LinkedIn? It's Lemlist. I haven't used Lemlist in a while.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Lemlist, HeyReach, they're both just top
HeyReach is
notch.
my go-to. Yeah.
Mm, I would love
But
to
okay, good
hear
good to
why.
know that Lemlist is another one that you can easily integrate right into Clay.
Yeah, 100%. It's just like the future state of or how it works right now is just like we will go in and here we go. We'll go in, someone visits the website, kicks off this workflow, and it just happens in the background. And all I get is a bunch of tasks within my lem list to say, send out this email."
So Lemlist will do email and it will do LinkedIn messages.
Mhm.
Okay, that's actually key. I should because I've been doing some other way more complicated. Because HeyReach will only do LinkedIn. So I've been
Oh, I didn't
yeah
know that.
yeah. HeyReach is only LinkedIn, so it's like an outreach or a sales loft, but just for LinkedIn. So yeah, I'm making it way harder on myself going pushing into a just the native sequencer in Clay, and then also pushing into HeyReach and trying
Mm.
to coordinate the days between the two. And it's like I'm making it way harder on myself. I just need to use Lemlist.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
it's
I'm partnered up with them, so I'll send you over a
oh,
referral
nice.
code.
Hell yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah,
yeah.
I've been making it way
The
harder on
actual
myself.
the actual unlock with Lemlist I found is I prefer to send out an invite. If someone doesn't accept my invite within 9 days, then we'll just use conditional logic and say like, "Cool,
Yeah.
if they do, send over this message. If they don't, start an email sequence." So
Oh,
like,
start the email sequence of that. Okay.
yeah, so like
Nice. I like
LinkedIn
it.
is LinkedIn is king for me,
Yeah.
but you still want to get in touch with someone. Like it shouldn't just be blasting into ether and hoping.
Yep.
Email is how you mitigate for that.
Nice. And then can you or you're just pulling in then from Lemlist, you're mapping over the columns into the variables here just as you would
Right.
any other sequencing tool.
Yeah, actually, let me show you that. That's kind of important. Um, yeah, the lemless integration is actually great. You can just map these custom fields to the various columns that you do have within the clay table. So email one, final. The issue you will run into is don't clay doesn't jive super well with some like sequencing tools. So sometimes you might need to insert HTML to be able to have like the page breaks so you can identify like the spacing and whatnot. But
Yeah.
it's an easy formula. It's nothing hard. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
frustrating to start. But yeah, that's soup to nuts. That's how use your company OS to be able to generate on brand messaging at scale, and then start pinging people through LinkedIn. Let's just go fast.
Hell yeah. I love this, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you walking us through it. If people want to work with you, connect with you, say hi to you, what's the best way to do that?
Reach out to me on LinkedIn, reach out to me via email. And always an open door. If anyone has any questions about this, if anyone has any feedback on this, I'm all ears. I would love to hear why this is bad.
Yeah. There you go. I appreciate it. All right. So Jerry at notyouraverage.bdr.com.
Correct. Yes.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
You too.